a hot topic of discussion amongst Reddit users, etc., all over online. So we're not going to go through the whole 100. I did kind of create like little groups of things that fit together. Mr. Tarantino, I think he's been clearly a very influential director, and 3 of his films made it to the top 100. I have them listed by numbers. So we've got Kill Bill, Volume 1, Glorious Bastards, and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. What do you guys think about these 3 films of his?
Not bad to have 3 on this list. It's pretty crazy. You probably won't see many directors pull that off. Inglourious is special. That's a special movie. There is few movies that will ever have a better scene. The whole house scene when he's drinking milk and they're talking is so iconic and so different from modern films where everything is so fast paced. It takes its time to build tension. I think this is the closest we can get to Hitchcock in that nature, in terms of like a tension building thing. I think Glorious is special. I'm interested to see what's above it.
Yeah, absolutely. This is actually so funny because when Inglourious Basterds is amazing, and I remember when Once Upon a Time in Hollywood came out, a lot of people were like, "Can it top it?" And seeing that there's like 40 or 30 films between it, I think is actually a pretty fair representation of like Once Upon a Time's a really good film, but Inglourious Basterds is just that much better.
I agree. I'm Bastards, I think at this point is my favorite Tarantino film, so I am happy to see it so high at number 14. And I am happy to see Kill Bill, is there. I think that movie does deserve some credit for sure. And obviously Tarantino's made a lot of other movies, but those were before this series started. And technically, it's a weird technicality. Technically, you shouldn't count anything until 2001, but it's technically what this list is 2000 and up. But I guess if you want to get into semantics, the 21st century and all that. Anyway, so guys, I'm very happy to see this. There is a director that made it, had the most amount of films on the list. And if you had any guesses, who would you think that might be?
Nolan. It's got to be, right?
Yeah.
You are correct. Oh, wait. This is not the right slide for that. Well, we'll get to Nolan in a minute.
Nolan did WALL-E. That'd be
Up
so
is
epic.
my favorite Nolan film. Yeah.
Especially when it turns dark at the end and it takes the kid and throws him off the top of the...
Yes, but we'll get to that slide in a moment. Apologize. But these are actually the Pixar films that made it to the list. And I know we've had a lot of discussions about Pixar has kind of like lost its way a bit recently, especially when you see a film like Elio do so poorly at the box office and no one really rave about it. These 3, though, are phenomenal movies: Ratatouille, WALL-E, and Up. What do you guys think about that?
WALL-E is iconic. WALL-E is like a warning of what is coming. But WALL-E manages to be a great movie without a lot of dialogue. And I think that's so hard to do for an animated kids film, which this is really for adults too. Like, WALL-E's special. Up is the most heartfelt one that I can think of. But I am interested that, is there other animated films higher? That's kind of my, because like WALL-E's pretty good to be at 34. So.
Yeah. Those are just 3 great films. Like, in all of them, kind of, especially WALL-E and Up, show how kids will enjoy things that are a lot more intelligent than I think Hollywood gives them credit for. Like, both of those are pretty profound films that are also just beautiful and charming and just great for the whole family.
The fact that a main character in a kids movie is just an old man, it's like,
yeah. It's amazing. A rat,
man.
a robot, and an old man. Like that's right there.
Yes. Cool. Yeah, I'm glad these are up here. I'm surprised there were a few that were left out, but I can honestly, I can see from, just a filmmaking perspective of why these were considered to be the top of the top. Okay, so now we can get into our Nolan. Mr. Nolan has 5 movies: Dark Knight, Inception, Memento, Oppenheimer, and Interstellar. And I did put these in order because I thought it would be too visually a mess to not have them in order. So what do you guys think about this?
The disrespect to put Dark Knight at 28 is immense. I am flabbergasted. I am shocked. Uh yeah, and I mean, if we're talking about just like great, incredibly well made films, they all seem low to me. Like you're talking
Hmm.
about a guy that might be the guy, like when it's all said and done, and that's rough.
I feel the exact same. That's wild. Like, good on him for having 5, but like, you could make a case, I think, for every one of these being higher. Bro, and then the Interstellar shade, 89. What?
I know. I was
What?
shocked about that.
Yeah.
I really like
Not-
Kill Bill, but Kill Bill is not a better film than Interstellar.
Well, that's
Yep.
like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I don't. I would put all of those other ones right there with Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yeah.
Interstellar, Oppenheimer, Memento, Inception. But Dark Knight being in that's wild to me. Like if we're just talking about the last 25 years, for it
Yeah.
to not crack the top 10
I was
just hurts my soul deeply.
thinking the exact same thing, dude. That is the most top 10 film. Like, if you just said, like, oh, what's going to be your top 10? It'll be one of the first that I would just think of, like Dark
Mhm.
Knight.
Yeah. I mean, even looking at the top 10, which we will later, I think you'll be surprised that some films got more of a
Mhm.
more praise than these for sure. I
Mhm.
feel I don't know. I'm still the Interstellar thing is just driving me crazy. So, but here's another filmmaker who is also trying to save film. I'd say Nolan, Scorsese, and Spielberg, and Paul Thomas Anderson is leading. They're leading the case for trying to maintain film be restored and putting a lot of money towards that so people can properly take care of really old films and things like that, which we love them for. This is Paul Thomas Anderson's work that made it into the top 100, and these are 4 of his films. So we've got There Will Be Blood, we've got The Master, we've got Punch Drunk Love, and we've got Phantom Thread. And I wasn't initially going to have anything that's in the top 10 of these slides, but it just so happens that There Will Be Blood was in it. So just to,
Hard to disagree with There Will Be Blood being at the top of a list. But the rest of them is where I have more of the question marks. I mean, the Phantom Thread's good. Don't get me wrong. Daniel Day-Lewis is amazing, incredible. But man, I don't know. I'm a little. The 40s and 50s ones are throwing me off a little bit, especially compared to Memento and Interstellar and all that. Like this is interesting.
yeah.
I can't believe that Punch Drunk Love is on this list at all.
I
Like,
know. Okay.
it's fine, but I don't think about that
Right.
movie at all. I've seen it multiple times when it's been on like TV. I never think about that film. I think it's
30
like,
better than Interstellar. 30 plus
yeah,
spots better
that
than
is
Interstellar.
that is an unbelievable. Yeah,
People yell at me all the time when I say Punch Drunk Love is just not in my top favorites of Thomas Anderson at all. Like I watched it. I watched it maybe twice. It's fine. It's good, but like it wasn't. Some people think it's like the most incredible thing ever. Maybe it's because it was the first time they saw Adam Sandler in a serious role. But like, come on.
it's not even Adam Sandler. It's not even his best
Right.
serious role. Like, it's not even
No.
That was
his
the
like.
best role. Yeah.
That's ridiculous. But you're right, though. There is like this kind of weird thing where you're supposed to like it, but it's like, dude, it's, I think, incredibly overrated.
Now, there were actually some comedies. These are the comedies that there are a couple that I wouldn't consider to be a full-on comedy, so I didn't put them in here. Like, what's the one with Brad Pitt and George Clooney, and it's a remake from the Rat Pack.
Oceans.
You guys know it.
The Oceans film?
Ocean's 11. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so like Ocean's 11, which like I guess is comedic, but to me that doesn't feel like a full-on comedy. So these were the ones that were full-on comedies. We've got Borat, Superbad, Anchorman, Best in Show, and Bridesmaids. What do you guys think?
It hurts me to see Bridesmaid 4 spots off of Dark Knight. So Dark Knight's
Yeah.
28, Bridesmaids 32. Borat, no. it should not be on this list. I don't know. And I know comedy doesn't get a lot of love, but I wouldn't give it love on this list either.
Yeah, and like what are you rating is a great film when it comes to comedy? Is it like groundbreaking? Is it cultural relevance? Is it just out and out laughs? Because I think it's weird that these I get like some of them. Like Best in Show is spoken about very highly. People like Best in Show. But like, dude, like how is Step Brothers not on here if you're gonna have like things like Superbad?
That's a great point.
And then yeah, like Bridesmaids is fine, but to be that high, like when everything else here you're like doesn't even crack the top 50. Superbad, which is like super influential, is only at 100, but Bridesmaids 32, like ahead of most of those Nolan films, is wild.
Yeah, I know that they did. Sorry, no, you go.
I was just gonna say, and that Borat's higher up than Interstellar is insane.
Yeah, I did read the Borat thing was because of the cultural influence at the time, and maybe that's why it's so high. I don't really. I'd like to look into more about how the voting went for these things, but I completely agree with you. And I don't know. I think Anchorman probably should be higher and Bridesmaids a little bit further back. Best in Show is absolutely hilarious, so I'm fine with it being at 57. I would actually maybe rank it up a little bit more. But yeah, it's weird too because it's Step Brothers. I didn't even think about that. The fact that that's not on this list, but it just also shows like I feel like if we did this from the prior century, you would have way more comedies on the list, and we're just not getting them anymore. Okay. Well, after that, let's move on. We've got some of my favorites that are on the list. Just to throw these out here, there were so many that I couldn't choose all of them. But these are, just some really great films that made it to the list. We've got Her, we've got Lost in Translation, The Wolf of Wall Street, Adam Sandler in Uncut Gems. I don't know why I read Adam Sandler, but that's okay. Old Boy, Adaptation, Almost Famous, and Children of Men. Anything strike you looking at this?
Almost Famous is a lot lower than Bridesmaids. That hurts me. Children of Men is incredible. That's for sure.
I love Almost Famous. It should be higher. It should be higher up there for sure.
Yeah, that one's strange. I actually, maybe it's a hot take. I think Wolf of Wall Street's too high. I think Wolf of Wall Street's a little overrated. Yeah, I can't get on board with Her either. I like Her. I don't think Her's bad. But I don't know. 24's like if we're putting Nolan in the 50s, 60s, and 80s, it's hard for me to put Her up in the 20s.
Yeah, Her's another film that I enjoyed. It was cool, but I barely think about it, and it's But
I wonder if it's more of like trying to define the century, and that's why it's so high. With AI technologies and things like that.
But it's not spoken about. Like that's the weird thing about Her is with all the stuff about AI, nobody references it at all in meme culture, in anything. In like it's just not part of the zeitgeist. And you would think it would be because of the tee up of like right now you have people with AI girlfriends and like you can see ads on YouTube for like AI girlfriends. And you would think that people would be like, oh, this is just like Her. And almost nobody really talks about that film.
No, they just talk about how sexy Scarlett Johansson's voice is.
Yep.
I did pair those two together, Her and Lost in Translation, just because I always talk about this, but it's the Sofia Coppola's version and Spike Jonze's version of their divorce and the aftermath of that. So it's both perspectives of their relationship, which I find interesting. Adaptation I love. I could actually probably see it a little bit higher. I know it's still pretty high. Uncut Gems is at 58. I think that Uncut Gems should be higher than Punch Drunk Love. I don't really remember what Punch Drunk Love was at, but it was too high for my taste. I think that's just a phenomenal movie. And then Old Boy is so good. I don't know why it's in the 40s. I think Old Boy should be, and it's so influential to so many fucking movies. So that's that would, to me, I think is too low. So we're gonna go, and not the Spike Lee version of Old Boy. My God, because that was horrendous. These are the top 10. So we've got Parasite, Mulholland Drive, There Will Be Blood, In the Mood for Love, Moonlight, No Country for Old Men, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, Get Out, Spirited Away, and The Social Network.
I think there is a heavy bias towards like relevancy towards real life here, towards what the issues were.
Yeah.
I have no problem with Parasite. I could leave Parasite there just from a filmmaking, but wow, do I have a problem with like 6 of these being in the top 10?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard. I would never put Social Network anywhere towards the top of this list. Or yeah, I don't know. This is tough for me. There's some rough ones here.
Yeah, it feels like a scrapbook of things that you're supposed to rate highly. So like you of course you got to mention Eternal Sunshine, because like that's a film that is like very artsy and a lot of people point to as like their favorite Jim Carrey film. It's like a way to enjoy Jim Carrey if you're ashamed of liking Jim Carrey, and there's nothing wrong with Jim Carrey. No Country for Old Men, yeah, it's a good film, but it's like a film that I feel like, you know, you get some points for like liking. And then like same with like Get Out. It's just like Social Network. It's just like, can we give a lot of the big directors like their flowers? And then again, like Moonlight, of all the kind of like Oscar-y things, I don't hear people talk about Moonlight a lot. Like it's one of those things that had it. Yeah, like I never, like you would think they would, but I never hear people talk about Moonlight.
No, and I really liked Moonlight a lot, and I think that year between La La Land and Moonlight, I think Moonlight did deserve the Oscar. But I feel like Moonlight is, I think when you put a list like this together, yes, they have to be groundbreaking for film, but like there's, again, what you guys are talking about, like who's talking about it. Like Moonlight to me was like a reading a poem. You know, the whole movie just felt like that. In the Mood for Love, I have to be completely honest, I've never seen it. I've barely heard of it. I know it has been very influential in Western filmmaking. So I can't really have a straight up opinion on that, but it is, you know, I wouldn't be like, oh my God, of course. Mulholland Drive, I love David Lynch, and maybe I need to rewatch it a couple more times, but I'm kind of surprised it's considered to be number 2. I think Spirit Away makes sense on the top 10, because it's the Miyazaki, like, you know, out of all of his films, like that's the one that is pretty much the most generally well liked, especially because a lot of people that even haven't seen any of the other ones, they've seen Spirited Away. The Social Network, I think it should be on the list. I don't think it should be in the top 10. And I did hear that they're doing a sequel to The Social Network. Aaron Sorkin's going to write and direct. David Fincher is not on here. Not doing the sequel. But it is an odd top 10 for sure.
For the Social Network secret, is it now that Zuckerberg is all swole and giga chatty? Is it like, is he
robot?
Are they gonna recast him? Like, because I don't think
he's doing it.
The Rock's gonna play.
Really?
Yeah, Jesse Eisenberg's doing it, and I think it's just kind of like, well, what Facebook started off as I mean, there's so much has happened since that, you know. So I think that feels like, to the filmmakers, they feel like the story isn't finished. So they want to kind of do kind of like the aftermath of what has happened since then.
It should be an interactive buddy cop in the metaverse where you are a buddy of Zuckerberg. Let's sell Meta. It's not too late, guys.
Yep, it's not too late.
Yeah. I mean, There Will Be Blood. I agree with you, Bumwager. Like, I think that I'm fine with that being number 3 for sure. And Parasite, I think Parasite is just in the more recent views of people like a perfect movie, and I think that's why it's number 1. Do I think it needs to be number 1? No. Top 5, yes.
Dark Knight's better than Social Network. We can all agree, right? Like Dark Knight.
I'm still putting Dark Knight 1 on this list. Like there's nothing I'm putting over Dark Knight, because like, I mean, if we went down the list of things, you got Nolan, You got him taking the superhero genre and turning it into something no one thought was possible. You've got the acting performance of the list. Like I mean, Daniel Day-Lewis is incredible, but Joker, Heath Ledger,
Yeah.
I'll take Heath Ledger Joker over all things. I don't know. I'd say it's harder to make a Batman movie that great than it is to make a Daniel Day-Lewis drama about the oil business that's really gritty great. Like that seems great. You tell me the concept and you say Daniel Day-Lewis is in it, I'm like, yeah, that's a 10 out of 10. That's home run. Just show up to work.
Like to have a Batman film that you take it out of just the superhero genre to where people are like, oh, this is like a form of art. And then again, Heath Ledger's performance, like if you were to do a list of the top 100 performances of this century, you know that he would be in the top 10. He might be not like in the top 3 for like his Joker performance. So it's like, how is the film that housed that so low in comparison?
Do you guys want to know what was number 11?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. It was Mad Max Fury Road.
Wow.
That is
Yep.
I like that film, but that is an odd choice. Like it feels like they wanted to keep the classy top 10 and then 11 they're
And
like, I really like this. Like
somebody was like, yeah, I'm
Which
down
is
with
so
that.
ironic looking back now because Furiosa like did nothing at the box office, but Mad Max is supposedly number 11 in the zeitgeist of film currently. So, well, thank you, gentlemen, for joining me. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. I know you're probably going to yell at me for not knowing what In the Mood for Love is, but that's okay. I will check it out soon. I did watch Worst Person in the World, which is on this list. It was a big Oscar movie like two or 3 years ago. I'm very happy I did. And I have more to talk about that main actress because she should be the one that's doing all of Dakota Johnson's roles instead of Dakota Johnson. Thanks so much for joining me, and we'll see you guys next time.